Welcome to the Implementing the Best Method to Deploy Windows Clients lesson. The lesson objectives are shown in the slide. This is the Describing Client Installation Packages topic. Symantec Endpoint Protection 14 introduces new cloud-enabled options for Windows client installation. These options replace legacy standard size and reduced size client installation packages. The cloud-enabled options include a standard client and an embedded VDI client. Symantec Endpoint Protection also includes a dark network installation for clients that are not connected to the Internet. The standard and embedded VDI clients are approximately 80 to 90% smaller on disk than dark network clients because they install only the latest definitions. After installation, the full set of definitions are downloaded. The embedded client is size optimized for embedded devices and VDI, employing techniques such as removing the installer cache and utilizing NTFS compression on more folders than the standard client. This is the Planning Client Deployment topic. Before you create installation packages and deploy client software, examine your current environment to determine how you configure your Symantec Endpoint Protection clients by determining the following. Do you need to make changes to your current hardware or operating systems? Do you have antivirus software currently installed? Are you currently using firewalls at the perimeter or other locations? Are you sure that your clients are free of malware and risks? Are there critical client systems that cannot be rebooted at certain times? Identify which clients are managed or unmanaged by the SEPM. Do you have current client structure? Are your clients now in groups? Which protection technologies are being deployed? For example, virus and spyware or network threat protection. Will you use Symantec or third-party deployment method to deploy client software? Similar to the SEPM, SEP14 clients can be installed on a variety of 32 and 64-bit operating system platforms. This slide lists the supported Windows operating systems. Before installation, always verify the requirements with the current installation documentation. For a complete list of supported operating systems, see the current Symantec Endpoint Protection 14 system requirements. You can also see the current Symantec Endpoint Protection 14 release notes. This slide shows general supported hardware configurations for the SEP14 Windows client. For further details, refer to the Symantec Endpoint Protection 14 Installation and Administration Guide. Other security software, such as other virus, adware, or spyware protection programs, can affect the performance and effectiveness of Symantec Endpoint Protection. Symantec recommends that you do not run two antivirus programs on one computer. If both programs provide real-time protection, they can create a resource conflict and drain the computer's resources as the programs try to scan and repair the same files. Symantec recommends that you follow your company's software removal procedure to uninstall third-party virus protection programs. You must also uninstall legacy Symantec virus protection software if you do not plan to migrate the software to the most current version. Symantec also provides a method to remove third-party virus protection programs, which are described in the following slide. When you create client installation packages, you can choose to have Symantec Endpoint Protection remove third-party software before installing the SEP client software. The slide shows a partial listing of the third-party virus software that can be removed. For a complete listing, refer to the KB article shown on the slide. If the computers that run the Symantec Endpoint Protection client also run Windows Firewall, before you can deploy SEP client, you must open certain ports. These ports are for remote deployment and for communication between the management server and clients. To ensure firewall protection, leave the Windows Firewall enabled on the clients until the software is installed and the client is restarted. If the SEP firewall policy is installed, the Symantec Endpoint Protection client firewall automatically disables the Windows Firewall when the computer restarts. Consult the appropriate Windows documentation for information on how to configure the Windows Firewall. You may also need to perform following tasks. Ensure that the administrator account does not have a blank password, or you may need to disable the Windows Firewall fully. Windows User Account Control blocks local administrative accounts from remotely accessing remote administrative shares such as C and admin, and prevents a SEP client installation. You can bypass this control by changing the registry key Local Account Token Filter policy. For more information on user account control and creating and enabling registry keys, refer to Microsoft Knowledge Base articles and documentation. Avoid installing or upgrading clients on computers infected with virus threats or other security risks. Some threats can directly interfere with the installation. To detect and remediate threats, older versions of antivirus software can be used. However, depending on how old they are, there is a risk that they cannot detect modern threats. Symantec Diagnostic Tool, or SymDiag, is a multi-product diagnostic utility designed for identifying common issues, gathering data for support-assisted troubleshooting, and providing links to other customer self-help and support resources. You can download SymDiag from the KB article shown. Use a threat analysis scan when you believe there may be malware on a system, but security software is either unable to detect or remediate it. By default, the threat analysis scan is configured to collect the required data when working with Symantec support, but it can also be used to find and remove suspicious files without support assistance. On installed clients, Power Eraser can also be run from the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager console and provides aggressive scanning and analysis to help resolve issues with heavily infected Windows computers. You should only run Power Eraser in emergency situations, such as when a repair fails or a computer is unstable. Note that when you run Power Eraser from the Management Console, Power Eraser does not scan and analyze user-specific locations. Use threat analysis in the SymDiag tool directly on the client computer to examine user-specific locations. If you are deploying client software to critical systems, consider placing them into separate groups from your regular clients. This enables you to choose the installation packages and restart options that are applicable to only those servers. See KB article Best Practices for Endpoint Protection on Windows Servers for more information. After ensuring that clients meet all system requirements, the next decision is if the clients are managed or unmanaged. In most cases, clients are managed because this reduces complexity and eases management. This slide highlights the differences between managed and unmanaged clients. Symantec recommends that you create new groups before installing client computers. If you do not create new groups, client computers are installed to the My Computer default group. In addition to creating new groups manually, you can also import an existing Active Directory organizational unit structure. This slide shows the three package types and which protection technologies are included in each: full protection for clients, full protection for servers, and basic protection for servers. You can use the SEPM Client Deployment Wizard, or CDW, to create and deploy client install packages using the following methods: web link and email. A user receives an email message that contains a link to download the client software. The users must have local administrator rights to their computers to install the packages. Remote push. You control the client installation. Remote push installation pushes the client software to the computers that you specify. The client installation begins automatically. And save package. You can use the SEP Client Deployment Wizard's Save Package option to create packages and then deploy those packages using third-party software deployment tools such as a network share, Symantec IT Management Suite, Microsoft Active Directory, or other deployment software. This is the Configuring the Client Installation Package topic. SEP 14 includes default install packages: Windows 32-bit, Windows 64-bit, Mac, and Linux. The default install packages offer excellent protection for most organizations. If you do not deploy the default install packages, you must create new packages. The new client packages include the following: client installation settings and install feature sets. In addition, you must export the package to the management server before you install the packages on a client computer. Client installation settings affect how the client software is installed on the client computers. The install determines the following: how the client install runs. Interactive, where a user must respond to all installation prompts. Users can select any options. Show progress bar only. Users see only the progress bar. This option is not supported for Windows 2008. And silent. Installation occurs in the background with no user interaction. This option is required for Windows 2008. The installation folder is where the client program resides on the client computer. The default folder is Program Files/Symantec. You can specify a different folder if you customize your installation. By default, installation logging takes place on the client. Logs are stored in a default location. You can specify another location or disable logging. You can decide if reputation and telemetry information is submitted by your clients to Symantec Security Response. By default, reputation information is submitted. You can add the SEP14 program link to the Windows Start menu. By default, the link is added. The Restart Settings tab determines when the new client reboots and the SEP14 software is in effect. This slide shows default settings. The forced restart method does not give the user the opportunity to delay the restart. The delayed restart method delays the restart by a time period in hours that you select. In the Restart Client Computer field, the default restart is set to the next occurrence with a delay of 3 hours. This means that the user can delay the client installation for up to 3 hours. When this time period expires, the user has 60 seconds to log off before the client computer restarts. You can also specify a day of the week instead of the next occurrence. When you choose Delayed Restart, you can also randomize the start time so that all computers do not reboot at the same time. In addition, you can prompt the user and specify a restart message. The No Restart option enables the client to wait and restart on a client-initiated reboot. The Custom Restart method enables you to configure a combination of restart settings. Client install feature sets are used to control which Symantec Endpoint Protection technologies are installed on the client system. This is not to be confused with the enabling of or turning on of these features, which is controlled by policy, simply what technologies are available in the client package. When creating a custom client install feature set, the protection technologies available in each feature can be selected individually as shown in the slide. Alternatively, one of the default client install feature sets can be selected. By default, all advanced protection technologies are installed. However, if you create custom installation packages, you should be aware that disabling advanced download protection also disables sonar and other related protection technologies. Symantec recommends that all advanced protection technologies be installed as a best practice. After verifying that advanced download protection is installed, ensure that your policies are properly configured to take full advantage of the Insight technology. For further detailed information on these protection technologies, see the Configure and Protect course material. Packages for Windows 64-bit, 32-bit, Linux, and Mac are available. The installation export package settings depend on the deployment method and if clients are managed or unmanaged. If multiple groups are selected, then multiple packages will be created. Each of these options are detailed in the following sections. As a best practice, it is recommended to delete older packages to prevent the database from being cluttered with unnecessary data. When you export packages, browse and specify a directory to save packages in or manually install clients from. If the directory does not exist, it is created for you. For example, if you create an installation package for a group named Europe below My Company, a folder containing the export package is created named My Company _Europe _Win32bit for a 32-bit package and My Company _Europe _Win64bit for the 64-bit package. You can deploy SEP client software using GPOS. You must create a package that does not use a single executable package. For more information on installing and reinstalling SEP clients with GPOs, refer to Creating a GPO Software Distribution at the KB link shown. Use the drop-down menus to choose the security features and installation settings for the client package. These settings can be the default options already included or previously created customized versions. You can also choose the option to create a smaller client installation package by deselecting the default option to include virus definitions in the installation package. Though this creates a smaller initial installation package, be sure to run Live Update immediately after client installation to ensure updated virus protection. The policy mode setting is described as follows. If you select Computer Mode, policies apply to computers as they connect to the SEPM, regardless of who is logged in. And if you select User Mode, policies follow the users when they log on to a computer. Symantec recommends that you deploy packages with the Computer Mode setting enabled unless you have a special use case. You can export an installation package for managed or unmanaged clients. Both types of packages have the features, policies, and settings that you assign. If you create a package for managed clients, you can manage them with Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager console. If you create a package for unmanaged clients, you cannot manage them from the console. The export settings are described as follows. If you select Export and Manage Client and export packages with policies from the following groups, a separate subdirectory is created for each group. After the package is deployed, the defined computers are displayed in the appropriate group. If you select Export an Unmanaged Client and export packages with policies from the following groups, clients are unmanaged and do not belong to any group. By doing so, you can take all the configuration settings for that group, such as location awareness settings and policies. The client then has a custom configuration with advanced settings, which normally are not configurable from the client itself. An example use case would be an internet kiosk or point of sale device. If you export client installation packages from a remote Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager console, the packages are created on the computer from where you ran the console. After you complete your export settings, click OK to export the package. A package creation message is displayed that shows you the export package process. The package is placed in the export folder that you specified. When complete, your next step is to deploy the software installation packages to clients. This slide summarizes the steps that you followed to create and export the client package. The next step is to deploy the packages in a test environment. This is the Deploying Client Packages topic. You can launch the Client Deployment Wizard from the following SEPM pages. The Getting Started page, launched from selecting Help, Getting Started page, and the Clients page. Select Clients, Install a Client. Remote Push lets you control the client installation. Remote Push pushes the client software to the computers that you specify. Remote Push enables you to select an existing client installation package or create a new installation package and locates computers on your network. After you select the computers, Remote Push pushes the client software to those computers and displays a message when the push is complete. The actual software installation is based on how you configured the client install settings. To use Remote Push, select an existing package deployment, uses the packages that you created in Admin Install Packages, and export it to a folder on your disk. It is then used to push the software to one or more clients on the network using the Remote Push method. To push the client software, use a domain administrator account if the client computer is part of an Active Directory domain. Remote Push installation requires elevated privileges. In the left pane of the computer selection page, click Browse Network to display the Windows network. Expand the tree to locate and highlight the computers to receive the client software, and then click the double right arrows in the center to add the computers to the list. Authenticate with a domain or workgroup if prompted. The credentials that you type here are used on every computer in the deployment list, and additional credentials may be requested. Finally, the SEPM tests the connection and adds the computers to the list on the right for client installation. If you are not able to locate the computers by browsing the network, you can click the Search Network tab to search by IP range, specific IP address, or host name. You can also import a tab delimited list of hosts. When you click Import, you can browse to the file. When you choose the file and click Select, the content of the file is added to the left pane. You can then select the computers on which to deploy the client software. Similar to Browse Network, a list of computers is displayed. Select the computers on which to deploy the software and type the credentials when prompted. Click Install to deploy the software. To check client status on the SEPM, you can select Clients, Clients, and expand the group to which you installed the client. Next, run the deployment report. Select Reports, Computer Status, Deployment Report. The deployment report lists success, errors, rollbacks, unsupported operating systems, and deployments in which a reboot is required. The information displayed on these reports is helpful when troubleshooting client installation issues. Optionally, using scheduled reports allows you to create a report and notification to provide the SEP administrator an update on client deployment status. If anomalies are detected, gather the machine names and remediate. Based on how you configured your restart settings, the user on the SEP client may see a restart message. To confirm the installation on the client, navigate to the client and start the client UI. Rather than create packages manually, you can also deploy existing server packages using the Client Deployment Wizard. To deploy these packages, start the Client Deployment Wizard. Select New Package Deployment and follow the prompts. You must use New Package Deployment when using web link and email to deploy packages. For new package deployment, select the client installation settings as follows. Select an installation package, select from an existing group or accept the default group. Select Install Feature Sets and Client Install Settings. Select Content options to include virus definitions in the installation package as desired. When you use the Client Deployment Wizard to deploy client software, you are presented with 3 deployment options: Web Link and Email, Remote Push, and Save Package. Web Link and Email. The Web Link and Email method creates a client installation package and an email template so that you can send an email notification with download instructions to users. To deploy clients, select and configure the client installation packages, or you can use the default client installation packages that are created for 32 and 64-bit Windows computers. Notify the computer users about the client installation packages. An email message is sent to the selected computer users. The email message contains instructions to download and install the client installation package. Users follow the instructions to install the client software. The Save Package Deployment method creates installation packages that can be installed using third-party deployment software or a login script. Save Package performs the following actions. It creates a 32 or 64-bit executable installation package. The installation package can comprise one setup.exe file or a collection of files that include a setup.exe file. And it saves the installation package in a directory of your choice. This is the Configuring an Unmanaged Detector topic. Different from the Client Deployment Wizard, Unmanaged Detector does not deploy software. This program only detects network clients that do not have Symantec Endpoint Protection client software installed. After the clients are detected, you can create packages and deploy those packages using any of the previously mentioned deployment tools. Use Unmanaged Detector under these conditions: to be proactive in detecting computers on which the Symantec Endpoint Protection client is not installed, or you want coverage over time and a snapshot of computers currently connected to the network. How an unmanaged detector works. Upon booting, a computer sends Address Resolution Protocol, or ARP traffic, to identify itself on the network. ARP is primarily used to translate IP addresses to Ethernet MAC addresses. After the unmanaged detector is enabled, it listens for ARP traffic and collects system IP and MAC data. This data is forwarded to the unmanaged detector's SEPM, which compares the detected system's IP address and MAC address against the SEPM's known list of managed clients and reports on the clients that do not have the client software installed. The unmanaged detector, like the ARP protocol, is limited to the subnet. It does not detect uninstalled clients through routers. To enable a client as an unmanaged detector from the Symantec Endpoint Protection Manager, you select the client's page. Under View Clients, select the group to which the client belongs. Ensure that the Clients tab is selected. Right-click the client and select Enable as Unmanaged Detector. Note the icon status will change. Creating exclusions. For example, you can exclude printers and routers from being detected as follows. Right-click the Unmanaged Detector client. Select Configure Unmanaged Detector. Click Add and add your exclusions. Type the IP or MAC address. To disable Unmanaged Detector, right-click the client and select Disable as Unmanaged Detector. Before viewing computers detected by the Unmanaged Detector, you first create a notification message in the SEPM console Monitors page. When an unmanaged system is detected, a notification message is generated. You can view the notification message in the SEPM console homepage by clicking View Notifications. This slide summarizes the lesson. For more information about the topics discussed in this lesson, refer to the resources listed on the slide, and remember to frequently check the Symantec support website.